Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are doing part 11 of my color palette challenge. There's only one more part left after this. Woohoo! So today we are doing This Is My Swamp. As you saw, there was one sketch, and I actually made it all the way to like coloring it in like after line work and stuff, and I realized I absolutely hated it. So I started over from scratch and did something completely different that's not in my style at all. I don't even know what my style is, but like I don't generally draw things like this. It's definitely kind of more like Adventure Time style, but I wanted to try it because I just didn't feel like drawing eyes with like pupils and whatnot. So anyways, this is kind of what I ended up with. I have an angry looking woman who is gonna look like Shrek. Now the reason for that is because the prompt for this one is This Is My Swamp, and it's green, and the only thing that I could think of was Shrek. So I wanted to design like a gender bend of Shrek himself and saying like get out of my swamp, like iconic movie quote. So that's kind of what I did. She is skinnier than I anticipated drawing. I kind of wanted to like try and copy the body shape of Shrek, but then that didn't end up happening. But I kind of tried to copy his clothes, so like that's why she has a vest on, because he has a vest over his like white shirt or whatever. Anyways, I tried my best. I added some textures to try and like break it up because again, it was only green, so I did have to like play with the tones and try and make sure that they were spaced out enough. And then I ended up drawing like a background a little bit. I don't know how to draw swamp, so I just ended up going with some leaves, and then I have that little like phrase coming out like get out of my swamp, but I don't end up including that. I didn't end up liking it as much as I thought I was going to. So yeah, I mean, I put a bunch of work into it, but then I just did not like the way that it looked, so I ended up getting rid of it after I added in the background. So I just used some of like the texture tools that I used for like the one line, or not one line, but like the Jazza design contest thing that I did back in like August, and I used those, as you can see here, to make a little background. And then that was basically it. I just kind of like layered the colors, moved some stuff around, and then we ended up with this final piece here. So let's move on to character number 22. So the prompt is I'm not alone yet, and it's gray and orange, and then this middle gray is like kind of greenish, which was interesting. But I decided to draw two people coming into an embrace, and that was supposed to signal or symbolize that neither of those people are alone in the world yet, whereas like all the random blurry people in the background are alone. I'm not sure if that meaning kind of comes across in the drawing, but it is what I tried to do. And I think this might be one of the best character, like full body character illustrations that I've done. I just really like the way that their faces turned out. I've never been good at doing like side profiles, but I actually decided to look at a reference this time and do that. I do wish that I kept her leggings like orange, like I had originally planned out there, but whatever. Maybe next time. Anyways, the line art was actually kind of easy for this one, although I couldn't figure out how to do his hair. So that ended up looking a little funky, especially because I kind of gave them both like blonde hair. But anyways, drawing his hand on her waist, I thought was going to go horribly wrong, but it actually ended up turning out really well, and I'm incredibly proud of myself for drawing such a wonderful looking hand. Very proud. I guess maybe I'm like actually growing in my artistic skills, which is the whole point of this challenge, and I'm glad that I'm able to do so. A little sad that it took 11 months for me to get to this point, but it's okay. All growth is good growth. So anyways, there was a lot of fixing involved, but you know, I ended up drawing a pretty good looking hand, and that's all that matters to me. I even got their feet to look right. Like with the shoes on, his feet were a little bit more difficult, but yeah, I even got their feet to look right, which was awesome. I did a different style for her hair. Instead of just drawing like a bunch of crazy lines, I tried to draw like actual tendrils of hair, and I think it turned out really well. Again, it's blonde. I did some like brown to blonde ombre that's like not super noticeable, but I think it really added some depth, which was nice. And I just kept their clothes relatively simple because I didn't want to put too much detail into it when I knew I was making like an entire background. So yeah, that's why their clothes look pretty simple. I did, again, add some textures to try and break it up just a little bit, but I didn't do too much beyond that. Like, look at how perfect that shoe is. I don't know what got into me when I was drawing this, but it definitely took at least 3.5 hours, I think. I don't know. I was doing this just before bed, and then by the time I finished, all of a sudden it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I had to get up at like 8 the next day, so not so nice, but I'm glad that I got it done all in one sitting, and I guess the extra time that I put into it really ended up working out for me. Didn't really know what to do with his shoes, so I ended up making them into like slip-on Van styles. But anyway, now we're moving on to the coloring part. I thought that the fact it provided me basically with a skin tone was really pleasant. Instead of me having to do like green like the last one, I would prefer a shade of brown or beige. Anyways, you see here I have like her pants orange. Yeah, wish I kept it like that, but whatever. Hindsight is 20/20. Foresight's never more than a blur. So anyways, now I'm just making the background an ombre. I wish there was like a blur tool that was more effective than the one that I was using. And then I just went ahead and added some figures into the back as if they're like walking past and they're the only two people just like standing there in an embrace. And of course I wanted the ombre to go top to bottom so that the ground was dark, but then also from the outside in so that the focus was drawn towards them. And I think I managed to do that. I can't really think of anything else that I did specifically to try and like keep the focus more so on them. The pose is a little awkward because they're further away than maybe one would anticipate, but my excuse is that they're coming into an embrace, not like in a hug, because that's enough room for like multiple Jesuses in there. Anyways, here I am adding those textures just to kind of break up the colors a little bit. I decided to do stripes on his shirt and then just some little texture on her pants. But anyways, here is the final piece. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every Monday afternoon, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and I will see you all next week.